How's it going, ParaTruthers? Welcome to a brand new episode of ParaTruth Reborn. This is a pre-recorded show on 107.7 FM New Orleans and United Public Radio Network. My name is Justin. Eric is gone. He is on set and on a horror film, so I'm super excited for him. But tonight, I'm going to be bringing on Brian Byers. Brian and Jen Byers are national recognized psychic mediums and co-owners of Savannah Psychics, Mystic Apothecary, and Savannah Ghost Tours. Based in Savannah, Georgia, they've been voted best psychics 3 years in a row and are known for their powerful mediumship, compelling storytelling, and deep connection to the spirit world. Featured on AMC's You Are Here with Coleman Domingo, Brian and Jen conduct séances, spiritual readings, and paranormal investigations that bridge the gap between history and the supernatural. Together, they bring heart, humor, and a grounded authenticity to every spiritual encounter. Now, unfortunately, Jen was not able to make it on, so I'm going to be just talking to Brian, and Brian is a very dear friend, so I'm looking forward to the conversation. I'm going to bring Brian in the conversation right now. Brian, welcome to ParaTruth Reborn. How's it going, man?
It's going fantastic, Justin. Good to see you. And yeah, I feel like welcome back almost, but it's been a long time. How are you?
Awesome. We are doing so well with the marketing on ParaTruth. We got with UPRN, and our numbers have been the highest we've ever had. So I'm super fantastic and enjoying doing this all over again because, as you know, if you're doing a podcast about the paranormal, it can kind of get redundant at times and boring. So
You're right. It's funny. Things have changed over the past 20 years, haven't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's mind-boggling to realize that, Eric and I started this in 2008. So we've been doing this, almost 20 years now. It's
right.
Freaking insane.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you. So
yeah,
you got my blessing. Everything. I
am excited about this all over again and getting people on such as yourself. Like you know that, like, I love doing this, and we've been through the ringers together doing this. So
we have been, it's funny, we have been through the ringers. A lot of interesting stories there that probably, no one wants to hear, but unless they're drinking with us, and then that would be great.
Right. That's an after hours, off the video.
Totally, yeah.
So you and Jen have been killing it in Savannah, and I love that over the past couple of years, you guys have been voted best psychics in Savannah.
We're 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. I can't remember. Yeah.
That is nuts. Now, you have been a psychic for a very long time, and you've kind of known you've had these gifts from a very young age, right?
That's correct. Absolutely. I think probably around 4, and Jen's very much so the same way. We're both, kids. We just, we know when spirit is around. It gets a little weird, like when we first met, I was talking about it a little, but not a lot. Whole, and this is 20 years ago. I didn't want to be that. I was, I had a different image. We had our podcast, Ghostology back in the day. We were crushing it then. And the idea was, that we weren't, or I wasn't gifted with the whole idea, and, but I was, and I even would experiment on some episodes. We would go, well, let me see if I can talk to, one person in particular that came through was, Jeffrey Gould. I will never forget that, his dad. And it was just like, wow, it's the most insane thing to have happen. And that's when I realized I can really do this. but do I want to do it? I was a little scared of it. So I like being the paranormal guy, but not the psychic paranormal guy,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and when I first started pursuing it, I mean, I was the same way. I still kind of am, because I'm not at the height that you guys are. I can feel when people are around. I can sometimes hear spirit. Don't know what they're saying sometimes. I can read people's thoughts without realizing that I'm doing it. But it is kind of scary, if you think about it, to talk to something that other people can't see.
it is. I agree with I agree with that. Yeah, it took me. I've always been comfortable with it because there is something that I would never tell anyone. And, up until just recently when Jen's like, we need to just tell people, I always surrounded myself with rabbits, and no one really knew why. I never really talked about it. I just sort of let it be this very weird thing that I liked. But my spirit guide, I've always called Rabbit. And named him when I was young. So the whole thing was, he's not a rabbit, and I found out later, I asked him, why do I call you Rabbit? And he's letting me know I wasn't saying rabbit, I was saying rabbi. Mind blown there a little bit. Took me back and going, wow, he was saying I'm your teacher, I'm your guide, but as a kid you hear rabbit, so that's all I was saying, and so it stuck. But it took me a while to let that one out of the bag. Everyone's like, why do you surround yourself with rabbits? Why are you always drawing rabbits? And, I just like them. But eventually I just said, look, I feel like I am connected with a rabbit spirit. And that was the best way I described it, even back in our day, back a long time ago. So, but it takes a while to fall into it and to trust what you're doing, and go, first off, is this good? Or am I crazy? I've done about maybe 20 or 30,000 readings in the past couple of years. That's a lot if you really look at the numbers. And what's wild is making future predictions for people. And it just, I can't tell you how it works. I don't understand. I just know I can say it, and then it's there and it happens. And if it was just once, I would call that like coincidence or a fluke, but 20 or 30,000 times, and you go, I guess I am really able to do it. I just don't think about it when I'm doing it. I really just, I don't focus on what I'm doing. I just let my mouth run, like right now. So, but for you, it would be about confidence, about going, I just am going to say all this stuff, even if it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it'll make sense. I think we can all do it.
I think that's part of the fear, though, is even in today's day and age, being a psychic medium is still highly skepticized. And I encourage people to be skeptics about it, especially at all psychic mediums, because not all of them really truly are what they say they are.
I agree. Oh, I totally agree with that. I like to go get readings with people, and I've only had a few people I've had readings with where I go, wow, they nailed it, and I can tell you, Rick Hayes, one of my number ones, he's amazing, very good at what he does. Scotty Rorick, I know a lot of people know him, and Tiffany Johnson. Holy cow, man!
I was going to bring her up, yeah, because I had one from her too.
She's great. It's just like you go, well, there are some people out there, but all the other people I've had readings with, which are a lot, I'm like, you're just, it's like they're going, one day you're going to wake up, one day you're going to eat something. Yes, that's so true. Give me something weird that I can put on my calendar, Yeah. So I like when people say, August, this is happening. You go, okay, that is great, So,
now, for you and Jen, do you guys complement each other as a couple, being both psychic mediums?
So first, let me say, I wish she was here. She's not feeling good, so I'm riding in the seat for both of us today. But we do compliment each other. Now, it's funny, Jen and I, both spiritual walks. Mine has been very different than hers. Hers, man, has been pretty wild because she got into church late in life, and she got into spirit-filled churches where doing what we do isn't weird. So they're like, oh, you're not psychic, you're prophetic. And so she's like, wow, this is cool. So I can just tell people stuff. And she was able to, and it worked, it matched. She's had a lot of extra training, more than me. She's studied underneath one of the most prolific palm readers here in New York. And so she's learned her gift in palm, which isn't just looking at the lines here, it's interpreting them, because it's going to be it's going to be different for everybody. Almost like when I use tarot cards, the tarot cards don't mean the same thing for everybody. So it's not a formula. So when she does the palm, there's a lot of similar lines she can look at, and she can say this, that, and this, but she'll pick something up on that line that isn't there and say, oh my God, this. And that's where she blows people's minds with the palm reading. And then she's been to Lilydale and trained there as a medium up in New York. And that's where the whole spiritual movement started. The spiritualist movement started with the Fox sisters and Edgar Casey, and all that happened up there. So, but she's just been she does a lot of learning and stuff to enhance her abilities. So we do complement each other when we do a reading. When we're tag team a reader, I'm mostly doing it my way. But she'll start it, and it's fun because she'll start with her palm. And as she's talking, if I need to jump in, I'll jump in and go, and this is going to happen because of that. And so it's kind of fun to see us working in tandem. We're even thinking about offering that as a style.
Okay.
All
Technical
right.
difficulties. We're back.
That was crazy. All right. So Jen's been taking, classes, palm reading classes. She's been up to Lilydale, which is where the whole spiritualism started, spiritual movement with Edgar Casey and the Fox sisters. So she's like the salt, I'm like the pepper. So you're asking if we were like salt and pepper. We really are. We're different, but we're the same. What's really cool is we've had someone get a reading with her and then get a reading with me without us talking to each other. We have separate reading rooms, and it's the same reading. So the woman was just mind blown. She's like, you guys are both on par. And I love that. We've had that happen a couple of times, but we tag team. I think tag teaming is fun.
Oh yeah. And so now, have you had skeptics come in and you get different readings from you guys, and they're just like, you guys are frauds? Or
no, I'll be honest, every person that's come in here, we never ask for reviews, so we have a series of really great reviews. I've had maybe 2 things that didn't happen exactly as I said they were going to happen, maybe 3, because there's a new one. It's not that it didn't happen, it's just that the guy was in a car accident and didn't make it to the concert where he was going to meet her.
Oh.
But he met her 6 weeks later in a cast at the same place. And everything matched. She was like, this is the guy he was talking about. He was in a car accident on that night and didn't make it to see the band that was playing. So it happens. The world does its own thing. So there's free will. But I've had many people come up, especially in a couples reading. Normally it's the guy that goes, yeah, I'm just going to do this for my wife, and then they're bawling at the end of the reading. And they're like, I don't know how you did it. I don't get how you do this, but you're good. And I love that. So my favorite people are the skeptics. If they don't, I'd say just give it a shot. give it a shot. It's always fun, especially if you have a good psychic, a real good reader, someone that is in tune with people. I think that's the problem. There's a lot of people that can read tarot and say that they're psychic, and they're not. I mean, tarot is sort of a formula. That's why I don't use it the right way. I use it my way, and it works better. And Jen's the same way. She doesn't use it the right way. Sometimes this card means one thing, sometimes it means something else. But what it does is it gives a visual roadmap to the person that's getting a reading. She always tells people when they sign up with me, oh, he doesn't need cards. You can just sit there with him and he'll just unravel it for you. So, but yeah, we get a lot of people that are skeptical. We've had people that have had a reading down the street, and then they come here right after going, I didn't like my reading, I want to try you. And then they leave going, this is what I was looking for. So I feel like, if you're a good reader, you're going to give a good reading. Even if someone's closed off a little bit.
Yeah.
You get that sometimes, but.
Right. Now, being in Savannah, it's reportedly one of the most haunted places in the world.
Let me just say and clarify, it's the most haunted city in the world. There we go.
Okay.
No, that's my friend's podcast, so I just want to plug it. The most haunted city in the world. It's the Savannah podcast. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen you post about it. Yeah, I've been out of the listening podcast scene for so long. It's hard to choose what to listen to.
Oh, I hear you.
Now, have you ever had any like chilling encounters or memorable ones?
I've been in Savannah for a very long time. Yes. Even before I met you, I was started in Savannah. So I was here way before, everyone came to Savannah doing this whole thing. So there weren't ghost tours when I was here in the 80s. Okay. But I've had my louder experiences in the 80s. So I've had so many very wild things happen. But on a psychic level, even back then, I was able to try and discern, was this a human spirit or was it a non-human spiritual being, And so, some really wild things happened in front of people. And they were like, well, we're not drinking. That really just happened. And it has been pretty mind-blowing. Recently, I was up in the old distillery here in Savannah, and they let me go up there. And I've got video. It was on the news. And the people that run the tour, the Savannah ghost tours, the trolley, they use my clip from that news thing. They milk it. So everyone knows the guy with the hat and the beard. So I'm sitting in this room and I feel this energy come up in front of me, and I'm like, I can see you. And right when I say that, there's a chair behind me that it just moves sideways. But it's pitch black, so I hear it. I just don't know what happened. I'm like, that sounded wild. When I turned back around, my chair moved forward. And so they were moving, they were showing their strengths as a spiritual being, what they were capable of. They could move things, thinking it would scare me. And then I let them know that doesn't bother me. It really show me something, like very Zach Bagans, show me something and I'll react. But they never touched me. I've never had anything touch me or harm me. So I have a hard time when people go, oh, I was bitten, I was scratched. I'm like, maybe, I still have a hard time with that concept because I've not seen anyone really do that. At least I've never experienced it. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I just have a harder time understanding why. Why didn't that one show off and touch me? Instead, it moved things around, Right. But there's a lot of that in Savannah. There's a lot of weird things that even in our building upstairs right now in this room, I have one spirit right over here hanging out. He's been up here since we moved here 4 years ago. Oh. So his name, he goes by Moses. I know who he is. I know his entire story now. We've had séances here where he's come through. But he likes when I do stuff. He just hangs out and listens. So I think he's a little nosy,
Just wants to see what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I want to hear your dirt. Let's find that. So when I'm doing readings in this is my reading room. Yeah, he'll pop in, and I'm like, dude, I see you, Moses. I know you're here, man, but we're not talking to you right now. So it's funny. He just knows I said that. Like he just reacted. It's just very funny. So Savannah's got a lot of that.
Now, a lot of people have a negative connotation when it comes to seances. For those out there that are not educated about what seances are or how they work, can you tell us a little bit about how you guys do seances?
Sure. Our focus is to raise the devil so that we can take over the world. No. So, sorry, that's a horrible joke. That's awful. No. So, the word seance is a French word. It means to sit for an extended period of time. So seance means to sit for a long time. And so what we do is we sit and we open up the room. We're not trying to connect with, dark spiritual beings. We're not doing any of that. What we're asking is there anyone that would like to talk with us? And we're willing to listen. And so what we're doing is we are allowing spirits that have crossed over to come in and participate. For them, it's like therapy. They got a lot on their mind, a lot of stuff they haven't had a chance to talk to with people here, especially when it's loved ones, because we get a lot of loved ones that come in. But what we do is we sit, we close off the room so that there is no, we're not looking for any dark energy. We're only looking for people we like, people that are nice, that want to talk, that are, we've had a few moments where we've had to shut the seance down and start over or just leave it. We left it once because it was just too much. But the way it operates, Jen and I sit next to each other, and we have everyone in the room kind of focus on someone that they'd like to come through. It doesn't mean that that person will come through, but there's a higher chance, I've noticed. And during that time, we try to discern each spirit that does come into the room, because they notice you're doing this and they're like, well, we want to participate. And people don't change. So when we cross, we don't become ethereal and enlightened. I mean, we do a little bit. I call it rehab. We go through kind of a rehab. I think God's got it set up so you've got to deal with all your garbage first before you can step over.
Right.
But like we did a seance 6 months ago or whatever. It was a really good one. The people that were sitting there, we were getting names, very ridiculous, hard to know names. One guy's name was Texas, Oklahoma. I said it in that order. And they were like, that's our grandfather. I'm like, that's who's here then. And they're like, I'm like, that's his name? That was his name. You can't make that up. It's just that's what he said, Texas, Oklahoma. And then we got interrupted by a spirit that rushed in really hard with a lot of energy. And I was doing automatic writing. That's where you hold the pencil lightly and you just let the spirits move it and try and write with it. It's fascinating. There's two styles of that. There's one where people write what they're hearing. I don't do that one. I do the one because that would be easy. A lot of people wouldn't enjoy that. I could do that all day long. I might as well just say it. But when you're letting the pencil just lightly go back and forth, and then you feel it move and it makes a shape, and that shape is a letter, or and that becomes a word. It really is prolific. And the feeling of that, by the way, when you're doing that, and I like to have everyone try it. It's this icy electric feeling, like touching a battery or something. You can feel it in your hand. So they're actually trying to hold your hand and do something at the same time. But this guy rushed in and he just started scribbling all this crazy stuff. And I just remember, I didn't understand. I don't remember the word now. We have the papers. We gave it over to the Savannah Paranormal Museum. I think we did. We might have done that. But it was the word that came through was That was the night O.J. Simpson died, or the day O.J. Simpson died. And it was his first name. I forget what it is. It starts with an O. It's really a weird name. And the person at the table goes, that is O.J. Simpson. Why is he coming through? He's not dead. And I'm like, I don't know. That's what the guy wrote. So we started talking to him. We asked him, what do you see? And he says, nothing, darkness. So he's writing nothing, darkness. So all he saw was darkness. And we were like, why are we getting someone calling themselves something like orthanol? I can't remember. And then he wrote a number. And we thought, well, maybe that's his jersey number. We'll go and we'll look it up after the seance. Mm. So after the seance was over and we closed it out, we looked up all the information and we found out the news he had died. We were like, holy crap. So he died on that same day, and then wrote all this stuff. And it wasn't his jersey number. That was his birthday. Oh. So it was the last two digits of his, I forget what it was, but we were like, there's just too much weirdness there. So when we went on TikTok, I follow a bunch of other mediums. They were posting the same thing. OJ came through and said he can't see. And I'm like, that's what I got. That's what we all got. We were all getting the same thing. It was a really wild, TikTok makes it easy to see in real time what everyone else is getting. Oh, yeah. So it was wild. It was very cool. And I made a lot of really cool medium friends on TikTok that night because we were like showing off our automatic writing, and they were mind blown by that. And they were showing us they were doing their portal recordings, Estes method, where you try and be a medium and hear it come through the spirit box. And it is wild. So that's, to us, a seance isn't talking to evil spirits. We're not trying to talk to the devil. That's the last. Look, I got 8 kids. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to deal with the devil. I've had a long day of readings. I'm ready to go home and have some bourbon. So yeah. But yeah, anyone and there are people that do try to open up the portals, the doors, and you can do it. Okay, so it is possible, but why? Right. It's dangerous, man. And that's why this whole doll thing, I'm like, we're very good friends with the people at the Savannah Paranormal Museum, and they keep getting new items, and it's just crazy what's going on over there. And we go over there and we have a great time. We love Megan and Chris so much, and Justin. They're just great people, but they're getting some pretty active stuff, and we're helping them protect it so it doesn't leak on to someone else. It's just awful. So this whole doll thing has been going on. That's a whole other ballgame. I know I could talk for hours, but
yeah. Well, I'm glad you bring it up, because a friend of mine had just reached out yesterday about it, and I hadn't heard anything about it, and I don't know why, but I thought Zach Baggins was the one that had Annabelle, but maybe I'm just getting the memories mixed up.
Yeah, no, that stayed in the whole Warren family, the nephews. Johnny at one point he was haunted collector on his TV show. Yeah, and Annabelle has definitely made its travels around, but yeah, no, even traveled with Ryan, Mr. Buell, for a little bit there, but yeah, was doing the tour, and Dan's just a really sweet guy, like awesome person. It just sucks. It really just sucks. And so everyone, they're getting all excited about this whole, Annabelle did this and all, and I'm like, look, let them grieve. It's like it's someone's dad, this is someone's husband, and there's a lot going on. The last thing they want to talk about is that, as wild as it is and as coincidental as it might be, I don't think it's what people think. And yeah, I've actually been near the Annabelle doll. I haven't had any adverse reactions to it. I didn't feel anything. Robert the doll, that's a whole other ball game. That doll is off the chain, man. But it's not bad energy. It's just that thing's alive. It's like a real being, person. So I don't know what has happened with Robert. That is wild. But yeah, I just tell everyone to pray for Dan's family here, and his wife and his kids and close family and people that he worked with. He loved what he did. So, but yeah,
I mean, if he died doing what he loved, that's all you can ask for.
right. No, the guy was very happy person. Always helping people. You know what I mean? Like, almost like a therapist, encouraging people and stuff, you know. He's got one of those spirits. So when you meet him, you're just like, oh man, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if I did a seance, he would probably pop through, you know, do his rounds. He might do that tonight. Who knows? I have no idea. I haven't heard or felt anything. So, but I haven't even been looking. I've been too busy.
Yeah. No. Now, do you feel drained or just bogged down after a day of work doing this?
I'll be very honest. Yes. I at first no, okay, because it's exciting in the very beginning when you're you know, this is like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, delivering readings, you get all excited and you're like, and I could remember all my readings, you know, I would do like 10 or 11 in a day and I would be excited. I could remember them all, you know, and here I am, you know, way years later, I did maybe 17 today.
That's a lot.
It is. I might remember one because it was a medium reading and we didn't get the person that we wanted to come through. And so yeah, it's sort of a disappointment there. I was like, God, I really want this person to have who they're looking for, but you can't conjure people. But that's the only reason why I remember that reading. It was a mom and a daughter. And I'm like, we're going to get this person. Well, it just didn't happen. And so, you know, that's the problem with the medium reading. You know, you can't really can't guarantee anything right there. You're dealing with the other side. It's like a paranormal investigation. You know, you can go to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium every night in a row, but 3 of them are active, and the other 4, it's quiet.
Yeah,
you know, so you can't really guarantee anything.
Well, and I think that's where the reality ghost hunting shows have made people think, oh, you're always gonna find activity. And it's not the case. So for those that want to pursue doing like paranormal investigations, what's the best piece of advice you could give them?
So that's a really good question. In the beginning, I always was about protecting myself, and I did it differently than a lot of people. A lot of people use, like, you know, smudging and stuff like that.
Right.
Those help you feel like you're being protected, so it puts you in that frame of mind. So I say protection in any location, and it's not because something's going to attach itself to you. It's that you're dealing with a lot on the other side. There's not just human spirits, okay? So we got all these names for them. You know, we call them all sorts of things, you know. You know, you got poltergeists, you got shadow people, you know, you go down the list. Oh, this one is intelligent, and, you know, this one is residual. But then you're dealing with the majority over there are going to be human spirits. And then you get like 20 or 30% that are other types of spiritual beings. And when I say that, they're different than we are. And they're not necessarily pleasant. And they like to mess with you on purpose. And the idea is they're trying to get into your head here a little bit. And they can bring you down from the inside. And so protection is key here, to walk in with confidence and to know if things start to feel a little heavy for you, walk out. You know, I've seen too many people pass out. Christopher Moon's mom, we were doing an investigation. She passed out filming in the room. And right there in that little kitchen area, I will never forget it, man. I wasn't there quick enough to catch her. But yeah, when you start to feel it and it's not feeling well, the idea is to walk out. So protect yourself with whatever means, whatever belief structure you have. The idea is you go in there with your mindset saying, it can't touch me. I am not going to let anything mess with my mind or my heart. And when that instance does happen, and I've had one very strong instance that was more of a possession. It was a possession. I'll just say that. You walk out, and I walked out because there's no way I'm going to go up against that. When there's somebody, a human being that has something inside, knowing way more about you than you need, very weird details that hurt your feelings, like, holy crap, you walk out. So there's been moments I've walked out of just an energetic building before and gone, I can't do this. It's just, it doesn't feel right. One of them was, I believe, a serial killer, the home. And there, we got one here in Savannah. I won't even bring it up because there's a family living there. And we don't want them to have people coming by and taking pictures of their house. But they've got a very prolific problem. And I know they know it now. They've figured it out. You can't really get rid of it. They've had people try to exorcise that house before in the past. They can't get rid of it. So. But yeah, protect yourself. The whole other thing is, and the other thing I'd say about it, getting involved in paranormal investigations, you don't have to be part of a team. I know it's nice and it's structured and it's organized and there's ground rules and all this neat stuff that a team brings. But if you're just getting started, I'll say, hang out with different teams, learn the style that people do, but you don't have to do it in a team. It's good to do it in a group of people, but you don't have to join a club or anything like that, or a society. Really, you want to learn what works best for you. Some people don't like to do certain things. Some people like to do others. I'm a big fan of bringing the spiritual people in, the psychics, the mediums. Let's see if we're all getting the same thing, And we always have one person that is the protector. So they're saying prayers over us while we're doing our thing, So it's kind of a cool concept, but it works. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the one thing I do remember from doing investigations is we went into a bowling alley. They call it Ghost Alley. It's in Cleveland, Ohio. And the group, there's a couple of groups there, and the group that we were doing it with had a medium already go through before we got there. I got there, said what I was feeling, and they're like, holy crap, you said the exact same thing the other psychic said. So it was validation for me that I knew what it was. I knew what I was talking about.
And that's the other thing. You just mentioned a really good point. Have a medium go through first and say, there's activity here, there's activity here, there's activity here. Then you guys go in and do your thing. Yeah. And that's what I used to do for the TV shows. So they would have me go through certain locations alone and tell the cameraman where to put all the cameras. So that's a great thing to do also when investigating.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to have a good medium. You got to have someone like you or someone that's empathic that can feel,
Now, if there was one thing that you could pinpoint about myths about psychics and paranormals or the paranormal world that you would love to debunk, what would it be?
Oh, and then I would love to debunk, like a certain topic or a certain thing or a certain because I'll tell you, I would love to. And it's a reverse, I think, of what you're asking, but I would love to be proven wrong because the longest time I have said, probably since we've known each other, which is a long time, that I don't think you'll ever get photographic proof of a ghost or a spirit. You're not going to get that. And here's my explanation, and I'd love to be proven wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's the light spectrum. So basically, we live in a world where our eyes see reflected light, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the spectrum. Our eyes only see this much, right? So we add UV to it. So now we've got UV, and we've got a couple of other, IR and a couple of other spectrums, but there's still this giant, vast array of light that is here that we don't even know how to see it yet. We don't know how to calibrate our lenses, our diaphragms. And I think if there are spirits moving around, they have a form. If they can move something, if they can touch you, which happens a lot, then they have a form. Even if it's for a moment, they manifest for a moment and then they aren't here. I don't know how that works, but they must reflect light. But we have to know what material they're made out of. And we don't know what material it is. So we don't know what light to be looking at. So I've said for a long time, you're never going to get it on camera, not an actual spirit. And I know there's a lot of great photographs out there and I love them. One of my favorites, it's the Amityville photograph of the boy's face and who he might be. And the story all adds up. It really does. I just don't know. We have one in Savannah a lot like it, a photo a lot like that. And I just don't know if that's really a spirit because it's being captured in regular light. Now, I want to be proven wrong, and I'm a big fan. I used to have people email me back during the whole ghostology days, email me all your photos and I'll go through it and I'll try and debunk it. I love that. But I've yet to see one where I go, that is real. I just don't know if we're ever going to get it until we can figure out what light we're working with.
No, I mean, that's a good answer because that's a very good point. And something that we're still seeing today where people want to believe. So they're making mundane photographic anomalies seem like you're capturing a ghost. Like one example is Eric had sent me a picture of somebody had posted it in a group. And it was a full-bodied woman. The only problem was like her one leg was missing because I think she was like moving way too fast and it was getting a little dark. But people wanted to say, "Oh, look, I caught a spirit," and I'm like, "No, like."
I know it's hard, isn't it? Because you want it, really. There was a hospital up in near the Waverly. Actually, they knocked it all down a long time ago, called the Paris. And the Paris hospital we got to go through before they knocked it down, and we got this using IR. We got this amazing child's face in the middle of this big open area, like a giant mess hall or kitchen, at the hospital. And you could see it, and it was just clear as day. That is a face. That is amazing. And when we saw it, we were out in the parking lot. We ran back in to recreate it, put the camera back where it was, and it just took us a few seconds of messing around when we got that face back. And I'm like, there it is. And we started noticing. I had the people go over and look at it, and when they finally walked over, it was the tile on the wall and the way it was warped and reflecting. It was the most precise, anatomically correct pareidolia I think I've ever caught. Wow. And I was so damn disappointed because I'm like, we got one, we got this right finally,
Right.
But yeah, the mind and heart wants it so bad. Audio, man, audio. I'm gonna, I'm bringing up my phone here. Audio is amazing. I don't know how that works, but I'll be doing readings and people record their readings. I tell them record the audio. And then they go home and they're listening to it and they hear their father's voice come through. So they clip those out, and send them to me, go, look, this is my dad. And I'm like, that's wild. I don't know how that works. The whole EVP / disembodied voice concepts, because you don't hear them in the room, not vocally. Right. And so I'm telling them your dad's saying this. And when I say it, it repeats the word, So the father said, whatever it was. And it just, that's kind of a wild thing. So audio is another ball game. I think they're able to manipulate or make that work somehow. And I don't get that. And even the spirit boxes sometimes really work out amazing. Like Yeah, I know it's a broken radio. I know the whole story, but when we look at it, there's some things that shouldn't be happening, and they just do. And is it just a lot of coincidence or pareidolia to the ear? I don't know. But when it corroborates and matches what I'm saying, so that's why I like having equipment nearby while I'm doing a reading or whatever. And it both happens. I say there's someone in the room and 3K 2 meters light up, bright. That's wild. I can't tell you if that's legit or not, but it seems to happen a lot. So it's pretty fantastic,
Well, you brought up Chris Moon, and I think one of the most fascinating things to me is the telephone to the dead that he was using for a very long time. I know that he had kind of stepped away from it for a while, because he wanted to do more psychic readings himself over using the piece of equipment. But we went, myself and a former girlfriend of mine went to your event, and he was there, and she was blown away that it sounded just like her uncle.
And that is amazing. You still there? Good. You froze for a second.
Oh,
that is amazing. So Frank Sumption, the designer of the telephone to the dead, or Frank's box, Chris had a great relationship with him. And there's a long story of how he even got involved. Really wild, because Chris didn't want to be part of that. He didn't know what he was stepping into until the box started calling his name and wanting to talk to him. And he was like, what? So Frank made him like 17 or 18 different versions of the box. And he just had a fire like a year or two ago, and
I didn't hear about that.
He lost almost all of his boxes.
Wow.
He's got a few that were out on loan at the time. So that's all he's got now. So they're gone, like the original. And whatever Frank did on the inside, I have no idea what he did to make them work. It's sad, but those things are I've got one in a pilot we shot with Chris that has a little TV screen. We got an image come through. That image is the same image of the painting of the woman that's on the wall.
Wow.
It was very mind-blowing. Like, I'm just like, you just can't make that up,
Right.
But yeah, no, Chris is great. Yeah, and he's been doing a lot of psychic work without the boxes. But yeah, we're thinking of having an event, having everyone just come down to Savannah. I mean, let's get the old band back together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, get the old school folk.
Well, funny you should say that, because I had done a podcast with a friend of mine. He does a show called My First Car, and I brought up, I've been doing this since 2008, and he's like, oh, you're one of the OGs of podcasting. And I'm like, I guess.
You are. You really are. It's funny. I've said that to the people before. Yeah, I started I think it was 2006 or something when we started our first podcast. And I'm like,
that's when podcasting kind of became a thing. So yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, wow, well, what happened? I'm like, we got picked up on terrestrial radio for CBS. And they're like, how did you do that? I don't remember. They just liked it. So that was insane, man, those days, because they didn't have content. And so that was the problem. And now lots of content, Yeah. Now it's kind of oversaturated, but
it's way oversaturated. Yeah. But, with same thing with United Public Radio Network, we were able to submit to our manager, and she's like, yeah, absolutely. So now we're not on 2 but 3 radio networks, because I work on a radio station myself, so I brought my show to it. So
that is amazing. And it does so much, not just credibility, but it brings that audience, people that didn't know you were even around. Now they're able to listen. And yeah, I know Jen and I are wanting to do a podcast. We've been toying with that, as you know. So one day we might do some weird stuff. I don't know.
Well, the one thing I know about you is you can always make it happen. So you will. It's just just like everything else, it never comes at the time that we want it to come. It has to come in its own due time.
You're 100% on that. And like I said earlier today, this is my 5th lifetime that I'm in. I've done everything I've ever wanted. I've done all the stuff that people said. You know what it is? People say I can't do something, and I'll do it. And it's I was told you can't make a TV show. Well, I have many, and I was told you can't get on terrestrial radio with a podcast, and we did. I was told you can't make money doing animation, and so I did all the little things. So I think I'm done. Check, please. Now I think I'm just going to sit here and be a psychic, and I don't mind doing that now. But a long time ago, I don't think I would have ever done that. I was too busy making video games, making TV shows, children's books, and all that stuff. And still working on the kids' books. I just wrote another one. I've got one called I Think We Got Ghosts. This one is going to be I already wrote it. I'm going to start the illustration soon. It's the cryptozoology version. So yeah, it's called The Corner of My Eye. So I think we've got ghosts in the corner of my eye. The same kid is in both of them. So it's kind of cute because we talk about, cryptids.
I find it fascinating that you do automatic writing and you're an amazing writer on top of that, just fictional and
well,
you've done scripts as well. It just fascinates me.
Well, I do have another book coming out.
Yeah.
So it's in edit mode right now. Stephen Radford, is genius author, is editing my book for me, and it's called In Their Own Words, and it's the true story of the Savannah spirit. So I went to every spot that is a location on all the ghost tours, and I actually spent time connecting with those spirits. So it's kind of fun that it's not my words now, it's their words. So I'm interpreting for them, and we got a lot of weird stories out of that. So that'll be available soon. But yeah, you're a great writer, man. So I'm going to say, I think it takes the type of people that can actually have the discipline to write a book to maintain and hold a very successful podcast.
It's the same type of thing, storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to edit this later and, get all the garbage out or whatever if you need to. And there's a lot of work that goes here and making sure it runs smoothly. So.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I'm super thankful I was able to get the job that I have now, because it's way much more up my alley than working for the post office, which was what I was doing before.
Yeah, that's you.
It's one of those things where it's like you think you are doing something to better your life, and turns out it wasn't fulfilling. And I mean, as much as I tried to make it fulfilling. So getting people to do shows and help them start podcasts, it's a dream come true for me, for sure.
Oh, I'm excited for you.
Now, if you could give one message from the other side to listeners, and I was going to ask you this even without ChatGPT bringing it up, what would it be?
Even without ChatGPT bringing it. That's awesome. The first podcast I've been on that mentions good old chat. So I will tell you this. I'm going to share this. We might as well just go for it. There's a lot of weird happening around us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to word it like this because this is coming from the other side. These are the messages, including Rabbit, who has been guiding me through this whole process, and Jen. It might seem like things are getting weird. We have already entered a new war, a war we've never done before. It's not going to feel like a war to start with. It will be one. So just watch how this goes. It gets a little weird. But what I need to say is, even though things seem like they're out of control, even though finances get a little weird here and we're a little nervous about spending money or about living and politics here, you're going to see the Constitution getting rewritten. This is already in play. You're going to see churches having to revamp their styles of teaching because in 2027, everything's going to change. Like, this is a very big, weird change. And there will be more spiritual people experiencing very weird things. And so they'll be changing their belief systems. But the overall picture is as crazy and as weird as this might feel like it's getting. We hit 2027 here. Everything is gold. Everything is great. This is nothing to worry about. Live your life. Don't get wrapped up in the politics. Watch the politics. You got to pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm treating it like a bubble. You got to watch what's happening from the outside. If you're in it and you're involved, you're missing everything. You have to look at it from far away and go, wow, this is so not me, you know? So there's a huge thing happening in the US that our Constitution gets changed. There's another country where their bylaws are getting changed as well. It's important that I say it like that because it's going to get really weird. But everything works out very good. We just got to get through 2026 and we got to hit most of 2027. But that's where all the weird stuff. And I want to say this out loud because I know you've got a lot of viewers. I want to say it. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel like there was someone just in your room, or if you saw someone in your room for a brief moment, but you know you were purposely waken up, if someone actually, you believe, woke you up on purpose with intention, you're probably going to go through a very spiritual change. And that means you're going to start to see weird things that you didn't think were real. And I'm not talking about ghosts. I'm just going to talk about spiritual beings. Things that might look like something out of a sci-fi movie. I don't want you to get freaked out. Just understand everything makes sense and it's going to be okay. But I know there's a lot of you guys that have been coming in. We've been having people from DC come in and get readings, government, folk with weird badges, asking weird questions. They know what's happening. So there's a lot going on. Just know, nothing to be scared of. Just like when angels show up in the Bible, the first thing they say is fear not. They say don't be scared. That's what my message is. Don't be scared. It looks a little scary, you know, everything from war to politics to just everything, even our religious leaders and stuff. It's all about to change a little bit, or a lot of it, but it's going to be changing for the best. So everything's fine. That's what I got to say, because it's been coming up so much now in my readings. It's just so much. Instead of be able to get it out there and just know, yeah, things are going to get really weird. Don't be scared. It's okay.
Oh, not get really weird. They've been weird quite some time.
Yeah. Well, wait until 2026, and then we'll talk about what's weird. This is off the chain, man.
I've been feeling it, so I totally get where you're coming from. And it's funny you bring up the being woken up in the middle of the night thing, because it happened to me almost a year ago now, where it felt like I was being woken up by something. I felt like, you know, when I did wake up, there was this presence there that I couldn't see. And I was fearful, but I don't know if I was fearful because of what it was or because it woke me up out of a dead sleep. But then I had these 2 marks in the webbing of my thumb, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Don't be freaked out. That makes so much sense. You have no idea. To find marks. I'm glad you did. You've been tagged, my brother. So that just means you're going to experience something here in the next 2 years. When we hit 2027, it will alter a lot of things that you wondered about. It'll answer a lot of questions. And the fact that you kept saying, it woke me up, it is a very good word to use right now until we're fully sure. So I'm just going to say it's like tagging a shark. You've been tagged, so they're paying attention to you.
Well, and the funny thing is after that, I mean, it's kind of changed, but for quite some time, I wasn't feeling the pains I was feeling normally. Mm-hmm. My anxiety had gone away. Some of that has kind of all come back, but I seriously felt that I was touched by something. So
yeah, well, they will visit you again, and you will have the same relief again. and you may have a different set of marks, because that's the other thing. It won't be in the same spot.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's all good. They're taking care of business.
Yeah, like I said, I don't feel I was scared by what it was. I think I was just scared because it woke me up and I could feel something or somebody there.
Oh, that makes sense. But you're good. It's cool to hear that it's you, because I've been doing this, for the past 2 years, and this has just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, wow, it's like they're tagging sharks. So I've been saying, let's see who's tagged. Who is this happening to?
Right.
So if it's happening to any of your listeners, I'd say let me know over. We got a TikTok, Savannah Psychics. I would love just send me a message or drop me a line, or on our Instagram, whatever. Just I'd love to see. I get a number of how many people that are listening are experiencing that, because that's fascinating.
Yeah, so I encourage anybody to reach out to Brian, or if you want to shoot ParaTruth a message, I can get it to Brian as well. But with that being said, we are close to the end of the show, so I want to give you the chance to tell everybody where they can find you, get readings, all that good stuff. The mic's all yours.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Savannah Psychics, that's one of our 3 businesses. Mystic Apothecary, which is our shop here on Broughton Street, and basically, I'm a big fan of TikTok. It's easy. It's video. I like video. I just make a quick video and share it and get it out there, and it sends it to my Instagram and sends it to my Facebook. So they're all Savannah Psychics. That would be the one I would say to follow. Now, if you want, if you're into herbs and oils and tinctures, oxymels, healing salve, there I am. I think I lost me for a second.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll just say that last. mysticapothecary.com. If you want to shop, we got our shop online, so it's very cool. Mostly just follow us on savannahpsychics.com. That would be great. And I actually interact with you guys, and that is it.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you in limbo for just a second so I can close out, but hang on for me. And
You got it.
All right, folks. Yeah, check out Savannah Psychics. I highly encourage you guys to check them out. I've seen them blowing up over the past few years, and it's amazing to see the work that they're doing. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, no matter where you listen or watch. And again, this has been a pre-recorded show for 107.7 FM New Orleans and United Public Radio Network. Check out all the great shows that are on there. It's amazing to see like-minded people come together. But until next week, folks, where you will find us same time, same channel. My name is Justin. Catch you guys later.